And I'm here with Linda Kern of the Kern Group. And Linda is a sales growth consultant here in the GTA, and she helps sales teams get awesome results and take their businesses to the next level. So Linda, you and I were talking about, with the pandemic, sort of here's a few things, or in your case, you said 4 things that you might want to consider as a sales leader or a sales team. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? Just what are you thinking?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, what we're noticing at this point in time is a releasing of the restrictions around the stay-at-home orders. And so it's, people are going back to work, companies are getting back to somewhat of a new normal. And it's really time to, if you haven't already been doing it the last couple of weeks, to really get back to business as a salesperson. So the first thing that I really recommend salespeople do at this moment is, do you need to revisit your sales goal? Was your business hit in such a way that you need to actually rewrite a sales goal? Maybe you don't. I mean, I've got clients that have rewritten their sales goal because they crumpled up the old one and threw it in the corner. I've got other clients who work in corporate who, it's not really going to be allowed that they rewrite their sales goal. It really has to do with the degree to which the pandemic has impacted your company.
Sure.
And so that would be the first thing is, does that make sense to reset a different goal in this time?
Okay, that makes sense. What's the second?
Well, the second one is taking a look at who your target client, target prospect is now. Has it changed? I work with a company in the restaurant industry, and one of the things, and they've been severely hit. And so one of the things we looked at was, are there any other companies that they can service outside of restaurants that that still makes sense for them to sell their products and services to, that they haven't really targeted before? And so look at what can be called, called like a total addressable market.
Sure.
From there, you want to get it down to a segmented market. So, is there anybody else you can be selling to, you should be selling to? Can you expand your client base?
Yeah. Okay, that's 2. Now 3.
3. A lot of companies have been doing this. Do you need to take a look at what you're offering? Is your offering still relevant? Can you expand your offering? So for example, if you have been selling something that hasn't been as much demand while everybody's locked down in their businesses, is there other products or services that you can be offering? And it may be simple examples like, face shields or, PPE type products, but it might just be, we've always thought about getting into this product line, whether we make it ourselves or distribute it. And so is this the time to be getting to that now?
Yeah, that makes sense. So what's the final thing? What's the 4th thing on the list?
The fourth thing is really a revisiting of your metrics. So metrics being not only the results of what you get, which we talked a little bit about in when we talked about revisiting your sales goal or posting that same sales goal up on the board again, but also what are the activities, the things that you need to do in order to achieve that sales goal? How many of first meetings, how many follow-up meetings, how many proposal meetings? It's always really good to have a good sense of what the right activity is throughout the week, throughout the month, throughout the quarter, that will help you to achieve your goals.
So, okay, so we've got the 4 things you came up with. Now, I guess my question is, if I were to ask you, what's the one thing? So for the people that are watching this, I mean, if there was one thing that you would recommend for them to do, especially do right now, what would it be?
Yeah, I think the one thing to do right at this moment is really we're getting back into as much of normalcy as we've been in the last 10, 12 weeks. And so make sure you are getting back out there in a big way, that big excuse hanging over your head of everybody's locked down, nobody's out, businesses aren't running. Make sure you are getting back into it, that whatever you were doing before that was working for you, if it was working, that you go back to that you know what the activities are that lead to success. Maybe it's a good time too to revisit a little bit of your sales process. One of my clients actually did that. We talked about that this morning. Let's button down what the process is, all the steps that lead to a sale, and make sure that that's being followed. So it's really about, I'd have to say, just making sure you're getting back out there in a really big way.
But I guess the other part of it, because I really like that advice, it's like you don't have to get out to actually get yourself out there. You can do it online, you can do it over the phone, you
Oh,
can
for
do it
sure.
any other way, right?
In fact, yeah, in fact, I haven't really been out there myself yet, but I've been back to booking phone calls.
Hmm.
If in my sales process, if you know, those that were face-to-face meetings, they're Zoom calls. So I'd like to think that Zoom isn't necessarily going to replace the face-to-face meeting. It may in the short term. I'd like to think that Zoom actually may enhance phone calls.
Yeah,
So one day when we're back out there, but absolutely keep at it. Phone calls, Zoom calls, get that back up to the level, and just be a little bit sensitive as to the industry that you're calling on, because restaurants aren't open yet in Ontario.
yeah,
And you know, there are some other businesses that have been severely impacted. So be a little sensitive to that.
sure. That makes sense. Listen, Linda, as always, great information. Appreciate the amount of time that you put into this, and we'll talk again soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, Ted.
Thanks.
See you later.